All right. Hello and welcome to another episode of the Couch Warrior podcast. As always, I'm your host, Mike. And today for UFC Vegas 81, I'm joined by my guy, Tyler, 138 MMA. Tyler, how are you doing, brother? I know we were just talking about the Contender Series card. It was a little bit rough, but how are you feeling about this card we got coming up?
Honestly, not confident. There's a lot of picks. I still don't have my official pick made. In fact, normally my full card breakdowns come out on Tuesday. We had the last-minute Terrance McKinney fight added last night, and then there's quite a few debuts and stuff like that. So there's some that I'm still just flying by the seat of my pants. So maybe you can convince me on the ones I haven't made a pick yet, but I do have some that I feel really good about. So we'll see.
Yeah, I was gonna stay away mostly from this card, and then you know how it goes. You start doing tape, you start thinking about it, and you end up with a bunch of spots. I need to get it together, man. We were talking about it off air. I got brutalized tonight, reverse swept. Hasn't happened to me in a long time. And it sucks to end the Contender Series that way. I finished 6-4. I believe after this loss, I'll be up like 4 or 5 units on the season. At least I won, but Pretty disappointing for a guy who loves Contender Series like I do. But we've got fights coming up. It's comeback season, baby. Time to wake up the beast. Let's get it. Me and Tyler are going to bring it to you guys, and we can start it right off. We've got Ashley Yoder versus Emily Ducote. Yoder, she's 8-8-0, coming off of a 2-year layoff, 35 years old, 5'7" with a 69.5-inch reach. Ducote on the other side, she's going to be 12-8-0, 29. She's going to be 6 years younger, 5 inches shorter, though, and she's giving up just about 6 inches in reach, which is pretty it's a good amount. What are you thinking for this fight, Tyler? Why don't you start us off?
Yeah, so this is one I actually do have a pick on. So go figure. I mean, this one, it's pretty cut and dry, right? But you do have the issue of the physical advantages being on the Yoder side, right? So Yoder she has a 5'8", 69.5-inch reach as opposed to the 5'2", 63-inch reach of Ducote. So for me, that's a big issue, especially with Yoder being able to keep range really well. She does work her jab pretty well. And she does her best work at range, but sometimes she does, start to get in a little close. That's where she's going to be in trouble. If she gets outside of that full, jabbing range, that's where she's going to be in trouble. Because Ducote has really good leg kicks. We know that. She's a good counter striker. We know that. Ducote's the better fighter. I think she wins. But when I first saw the line, I was like, oh, okay, you could parlay up Ducote easy. She's top tier compared to Yoder, who's got a 500 record. And then I looked at the physical advantages, and I was like, okay, don't get that reckless with it. But I do think Ducote wins. Like I said, she's the better fighter pretty much everywhere other than the physical advantages, and that's where Yoder can excel. If it gets to the mat, Yoder has those long limbs. They're good for controlling opponents. They're good for snatching up subs. But I got to side with Ducote. I think she's better. But like I said, she's coming off of, 2 losses or something like that? And she also, is fighting a very uphill battle.
Yeah, I get it. I mean, for me, this is easy Ducote. I think the price is justified. She opened -600. I think maybe that might have been a little bit too wide. But realistically, for me, it's if I'm going to back a dog, I need to be able to game it out in my head, kind of see how it goes down. And I tried. I sat here for 10 minutes trying to game it out. And the only way I see her losing is if Ducote comes and just freezes up. And kind of against Angela Hill, but it's Angela Hill, Angie's beating anybody who's not elite. She's always been that way. She's been a cash cow for me, made me a ton of money, always the underdog, and always outstrikes a lot of her opponents. So I don't give her too much heat for that. I mean, I thought it was a pretty decent performance against Loopy. I had Loopy there, but I thought she did pretty well. And especially recently, she's definitely fighting the better comp. I mean, I know Yoder also fought Hill in her second to last fight, but look, for me, I think the headline here is Ashley Yoder got outstruck on the feet by Jinyu Frey. That's my headline. Because
Fair.
it's not like Frey was taking her down and like rocking her with shots. No. On the feet for 3 rounds, Jinyu Frey landed, I believe, over 100 significant strikes and beat her on the feet. Okay. It's all you need to know. Ducote, she's a much cleaner striker. She's a really clean counter striker. And I think that's really going to play into this matchup here because Yoder, she really leaves herself open. You know, sometimes her strikes even look decent because she's able to use that length to do those 1-2s, put stuff together down the pipe. But she leaves herself so out of position. And that's how Jinyu Frey was countering her. And Ducote is going to counter much harder. She's going to have a lot more power. I know she's not getting a ton of knockouts, and Yoder's never been knocked out. But I'm pretty confident that Ducote is going to finish her here. I wouldn't parlay her at minus 400. It's just not something you should do. But I did parlay her at minus 270 last week. I did not understand why that line was there. That to me was incredibly off. I parlayed her with Kat Zingano and Berkhamov in Bellator. So I now have 2 units at plus 103 on Ducote. I'm happy with that. I'll take it. I considered the KO prop at plus 500 because, like I said, I think those counters are going to really add up. If she's throwing in leg kicks too, I really think she can get that finish. But I think I'm just going to leave it alone with my 2 units at plus 103.
Yeah, I mean, I don't doubt that at all. And like you said, the only way that Yoder gets this one done is if Ducote just doesn't throw any volume and it goes to decision, and it's just kind of like, yeah, I guess Yoder pointed her out with some jabs. So at 270, that was fine. I mean, at minus 400 though, nah. I'll just pass.
I've retired. Once it hits minus 350, I've retired. Even minus 300, I'm done.
For my guy Dover last week, I played an exception. At minus 350, I ended up throwing 10 units on him straight, and then I threw 5 more units on him to win inside the distance. So obviously it hit. But Dover and I are buds, so like, you know, we're not like close, don't get me wrong, but like, you know, either way. Biased. A lot of it biased, yeah.
I get
it. So yeah,
but
otherwise, no. If it's 400, you can't be playing that.
I mean, I'm already doing the same thing for next week with my guy Anshul Jubli. I dropped a 4-unit bet at minus 400. I'm gonna parlay him to hell. I'm gonna play his ITD. He is going to kill Brendon. I'm telling you, dude, this guy's a stud. I'm so hyped to see him fight again.
He's pretty good.
I think he's legit. But we can move on. Next fight up. Man, the line here has gotten nuts. We've got Chris Gutierrez versus Alatengheili. Gutierrez, 19-4-2. He's going to be 32 years old, 5'9" with the 67-inch reach. He's at Factory X, right?
Yeah, I believe he is. Yep.
Pretty sure. And then Alatengheili, 16-8-2. He's going to be 1 year younger at 31, 4 inches shorter, and have a 1-inch reach disadvantage, training at a fight ready. I'll start us off here. Look, I think Gutierrez wins this at a very high clip. I do think it's a really good stylistic matchup for him. I just think the line is too much. I would not parlay Gutierrez at minus 300. And as someone who hasn't really taken a strong position yet, I'm actually considering Alatengheili at plus 300. But in terms of the breakdown, right? Gutierrez, yeah, we've seen some problems with the takedown defense. But look, for the most part, it's very solid. 72%, I believe, off the top of my head. And you know, this is no Cody Durden, right? This is not Cody Durden. Cody Durden is an amazing wrestler, but he's also relentless with it. He won't stop. Alatengheili, he's got good wrestling, but he's not relentless with it. Sometimes he just chooses not to do it at all. And his striking, his boxing is good, but it's not enough to set up the takedowns, I think. And if he's shooting takedowns with no setup here, I don't think he's going to be able to take down Gutierrez. And then on the feet, in the pocket, can he land some really good shots? Absolutely. I think he can. He's got good hooks. He's got good power. If we're up close, that range won't matter as much. But Gutierrez moves a lot. He moves a lot. He has a lot of lateral movement. I don't think he's going to allow it to get into the pocket too much. If it does, he's going to be throwing up knees. I think he's going to knock out Alatengheili personally. I played his knockout prop at plus 800 for 0.2 units to win 1.6. I might leave it just there. But again, for me, this is all numbers. This is a numbers game for me, and plus 300 is starting to be pretty off because I could see a world where he could get some takedowns. I could see a world where he's wearing on Gutierrez. I just think it's kind of unlikely, so I'll probably pass, but I would caution against parlaying Gutierrez at this price. How about you, Tyler?
Yeah, so I think the line's accurate, honestly. I think so I'm gonna get so much crap for this one. I'm really thankful the fight fell off with Gutierrez and Jackson, because I was gonna take Gutierrez. I think he was gonna beat Jackson because Jackson sometimes just
I
lets
had him
fight.
there. I had him there plus 195, man.
There you go. Yeah, so I had him too. And everybody was on Jackson, and I was like, you know what? Maybe it's a good thing because I didn't do so well last week. But then again, maybe that would have been my big win. But I think Gutierrez is the real deal. Now, I know a lot of people are down on him after his loss to Munoz. Honestly, it was a close fight. I mean, sure, the biggest moment of the fight was for Munoz, but like it was a pretty close fight. It wasn't like he ran away with it. Gutierrez didn't look bad, and Munoz is good. So for me, I think Alatengheili, who is good, is not on the level of Chris Gutierrez. Now, I think so for both of these guys, both guys do typically like to pick their spots, right? But I think Gutierrez has the better volume. I think he's more accurate. Those leg kicks are absolutely savage. I think he's going to be able to pick those shots better. I didn't know you could get plus 800 on the knockout prop. I might actually go bet that if it's still around.
I don't think it is anymore.
Probably not. But yeah, I do have Chris Gurierrez in a parlay. I think he gets it done. I feel pretty good about it, and I got him at minus 240, which is
that's much better.
I wish I would have got him when he opened. The line opened at plus 190. Insane. I would have bet all of my Dober winnings on it.
Can you believe that?
That's insane. That's because the people were so down on him after the Munoz fight. But he opened at plus 190 against Alatengheili. Absolutely absurd.
Yeah,
I missed that one bad.
There's like an extra level of recency bias when it's a guy who people parlayed up to hell. Yep. And now they hate him. Now he's a bum because he lost that fight where they should not have parlayed him. And now he's a bum because it's a fighter's fault. It's not their fault for making a bad play. I played Munoz there. There was an angle. He pulled it off. He won. I don't think Gutierrez is any worse because of it, though. Munoz, like you said, he's still good. So minus 240, that's a parlay piece. Minus 400.
That's a little steep. But it's fair. I think he wins at a pretty gosh darn good clip. I just, other than like a flash knockout or something, I don't see Alatengheili winning because I don't think he can get the takedowns. And if he does, I don't think it's going to be the whole round, and I don't think it's going to be long enough to win a round after he's been getting chomped up on the feet with those leg kicks, counter shots. I just don't see him winning a decision unless, it has to be pretty crazy. And so flash knockout's about the only thing I could see, and I don't know, Gutierrez is pretty good. So
he is a fight ready, really good grappling camp. Maybe that'll help with the takedowns, but again, I'm not seeing someone who's explosive when he's shooting. I'm not seeing someone who's like, for me, if I'm going to be backing someone as a wrestler, I need to see A, explosivity, and B, I need to see them setting it up with good striking. And his striking, like I said, I think his boxing's okay, but I don't think it's going to be enough here.
Exactly.
But we can move on. Next up, we've got Irina Alekseeva, the Russian Ronda versus Melissa Dixon. Alekseeva 5-1-0. She's 33 years old, 5'8" with the 66-inch reach. Dixon on the other side, she's 5-0, going to be 32, 1 year younger, 5'7", 1 inch shorter. Don't have her reach, unfortunately. Tyler, why don't you start us off, brother?
Dude, I'm so excited to talk about this fight with you because remember when Alekseeva came into the UFC, right? Everybody wrote her off as absolute trash, garbage. People were, this fight shouldn't happen, yada, yada. Everybody, she was the laughing stock of everybody, right? Now she's their darling. They're all betting on her. Everybody's, oh, yeah, Russian Ronda, 10 units or whatever. Like, people are betting on this woman like crazy now because she got a knee bar finish. And, yeah, like, that's an impressive finish. But people are like, oh, yeah, how many people have you seen on Twitter post, like, multiple unit bets on Irina Alekseeva? I had to double-check her name. I don't want to call her Russian Ronda all the time. But Alekseeva, how many people have you seen bet on her on Twitter? Like, at least 10, right?
At least.
At least. So, like, you see this girl, and, like, yeah, I understand. That was a sick knee bar. Her grappling, her judo is solid, right? She's got good judo. But her striking's not good. She hits hard, but she's wide open for counters, but everything loops. It's just big, wild shots. But she does seem to have some power to her. But I don't think it's good. Now, Dixon, on the other hand, her name changed. Dixon is her current name, I think. I think I got that right in my notes. But anyway, she's got good striking, right? Her head movement, horrible. She's going to get hit, but she's got good striking. Even better, what I like better, the thing I like the most actually is her ground and pound. When she gets on top of somebody, she is a monster. She's landing beautiful ground and pound, something she does that I absolutely love. In fact, my coach used to tell me to do this all the time, is she uses her knee, which I just touched my knee. You guys can't even see it, but she uses her knee as like a fulcrum for like a point into her opponent. So like she'll use it to pin an arm down, but not just to pin the arm down like, oh, I'm trying to hold it with my shin like a lot of fighters do. She'll dig the knee into that muscle, between the muscle of the bicep and the tricep. She'll put that knee, she'll put it across their chin and just rest it there and put weight on it and like start landing ground and pound. She's a monster on the ground, and she does very, very well at landing good volume, but also damaging shots. If Dixon can get on top, this fight is going to be bad for Alekseeva. However, the striking defense on the feet does worry me. I haven't really figured out how confident I am in Dixon, but I'm taking Dixon because I think that if she gets on top, she's going to be the better minute winner by a landslide. I think on the feet, she's going to be a better minute winner. So I think Alekseeva needs a finish, which the line might flip, which I think it will. And I think Alekseeva is going to be the favorite. And if it flips, that is how I'm going to play it. What I want to do is get Dixon as the underdog and then play Alekseeva inside the distance, and then I get free money either way. That's how I want to play it. But I'm stoked to hear your opinion on this fight, so let me hear it.
Well, first off, Alekseeva opened on Bet Online. I just pulled it up. -225. Believe it or not.
Yeah, and then she flipped, and then I missed that line too because I'm a doofus.
Yeah, completely flipped, which is insane to me. But we're going to have our first disagreement here. I actually like Alekseeva. I was going to pass, but then once I saw +140, I decided to play it because I think it's close, but I also think that Dixon's style really plays into Alekseeva's. Alekseeva, the one fight she lost was where she couldn't get her own takedowns and she was just not doing well on the feet, which can happen here. But the thing is, Dixon's not going to really want to strike either. I don't really rate her striking too high. I mean, I don't rate either of their strikings too high. But I think Dixon's going to be shooting, and that's really just going to give Alekseeva exactly what she wants, right? World Sambo champion. What that exactly means, we don't know. But I mean, look, Edgar is high level. She's a good judoka, and call it a fluke all you want. That was a clean setup. That was a clean transition. And if she's on bottom, I do think she can threaten subs, and I also think she can get her own takedowns. And on the feet, I think Dixon's cleaner, but she's going to hit so much harder. She's almost like Trevor Peek on the feet, right? She's just coming at you, winging wild, and just no technique, but there's power. So, and also, like, I've really been trying to incorporate this into my capping. Like, I want to put my money on people I know are going to fight for my money. People who are just coming out there, do or die. And Alekseeva is one of those people. She is coming, do or die. Either kill her or she's going to kill you. And that's someone I'm more than happy to bet as an underdog. I was going to stay away just because if the line was close, I could see Dixon being able to just lay on top of her for 3 rounds, maybe negate the Sambo, the submission game. But I think that there is a very high chance that Alekseeva either A, rocks her on the feet, or B, finishes her on the ground, whether it's underneath, on top, or a club and sub. The way I did it was Alekseeva +140, 1 unit, and then I played her submission at +550 for 0.2. I considered the knockout at +1100. That's a very me kind of bet. And again, I think it's a very live bet. But because I think we're going to be on the ground so much, I'd rather play that sub and just sprinkle it a little bit.
Yeah, I think her inside the distance is a decent play. And, like, I'm still looking to play it as long as Dixon ends up as an underdog at any point, or even +100, because I don't think Alekseeva is winning a decision. I could be wrong, but I don't think so.
You know what I want to see? I want to see what Alekseeva decision no action is.
Oh, now that's an idea. She could also get finished, though. I still don't know if I'd play that.
Let's see. If it's a favorite line, then it's a pass.
Because either is live for a finish, but I don't think if it goes to decision, Alekseeva gets the win. I just feel like her style is gonna just not like it's not a decision style. She either finishes you or she's in a bad spot and can't hurt you. At least from what I can tell.
Alekseeva decision no action +115. I think that's a play. You're not giving up much, and you're getting insurance.
That's true. Because if it goes to decision, it's probably Dixon just
probably
landing elbows and just like bludgeoning her on the ground, but Alekseeva just hanging in there. But then Dixon could also finish her with that ground and pound because it's savage.
What do you think about the under 2.5 at plus 140?
That might be playable. I might play that. I don't know. That's close. I might play that. I like that. Plus 140, you say?
Yep, around there, I believe.
Oh, I'm gonna toy with that. So on my Patreon, I do my top 5 bets, right? I've got 3 so far out of 5, and I just don't know where to go with the next 2 because I'm having a hard time picking spots I really like, right? That I don't know if that's quite one of them, but I'm leaning. That's a good one because I could see either girl getting the finish. And with the way how aggressive Alekseeva is, she's either forcing you to get finished or forcing you to finish her, at least from what I've seen. But then again, she's been to decision in the past. So,
yep,
I don't know.
I'm with you. I'm like, I wanted to play it. When I first saw the line, I was like, yes. But then my gut was kind of like, let's just maybe stay off of this one.
Is it still even money or better to go fight doesn't go to decision?
Fight doesn't go as plus 110.
I might play that because that's just that little bit safer, and it's still plus money.
Yeah, I like it. I don't know if I'll get there, but I do think it's a solid move.
Same. That might be a lunch money bet. It might not be one of my actual bets, but that might be like, you throw $5 on it, and if it hits, you get lunch on Monday, and if it doesn't hit, well, you're just not getting lunch.
Where the hell are you getting lunch for $5?
Well, see, that's the thing. If it hits, you get more money. So you get the $5 you had plus at plus 110. What was that end up being like? What, $6 or something like that? So you get $6. So then you have $11 total. For $11, you can get lunch. But if it doesn't hit, you lost your $5. So you're just out of lunch. I hit that on my Piper round 2 sub was my lunch money bet last week. So I ate lunch on Monday. So that was cool.
That wasn't even lunch money, man. That was actual money for me. I was so happy. I was having a terrible night. And Piper came out, and like I felt good about it because for me, it didn't feel like luck. I felt like I actually had a really solid read for why I was betting it.
Yeah.
And it played out that way, right? He started to get a little uncomfortable on the feet, and he's smart, like I said, went to the ground in an immediate submission.
It was beautiful. I think I bet like $2 or $3 on it. Like it wasn't much, but it covered lunch.
Yeah, I mean, I was screaming, man. I was screaming, but we can move on. Next up, we've got a short notice replacement. We've got Terrance McKinney versus Brendon Marotte. McKinney, he's going to be 14-6-0. He's still only 29 years old, 5'10" with a 73-inch reach. Believe he's at Warrior Camp. He moves around a lot, so it's hard to keep up with him. Marotte, he's 8-1-0, 26. He's 3 years younger, same height, 1-inch reach disadvantage. It does say he trains at New England Cartel. I couldn't verify that based off of his Instagram, but we'll go with it. Why don't you start us off?
So these guys are trying to get me to pick McKinney again. And I hate this because, like, he's burnt me quite a few times. He's burnt everybody quite a few. I picked against him quite a few too. Don't get me wrong. But, like, I feel like every time I pick him, he burns me, right? But short notice for this guy. I believe it's up a weight class for him. Is that correct? Yeah. So up a weight class, short notice. And McKinney's not bad. It's not like he's a bad fighter. He's a good fighter. But, like, he's burnt me a lot of times. So it's tough. But I got to lean McKinney, right? He's better. He does all the same things, just a little bit better and a little bit bigger is kind of my estimation. So I got to take McKinney. But, like, this is one I still – so, like, when I do my picks, right, on my notebook, I put a little check mark by the person I'm picking. And then next to that, I read a number of confidence on a scale of 1 to 10. I put the check mark, but I have no number next to it because I don't know how good I feel about it. So it's so far 0 confidence, but I feel like he should win. I'm gonna do a little more research on Brendon or Brandon or what the fuck is his name? Marotte. Okay, there you go. That's how little I've looked into him. I've watched like 3 fights so far, but so far I've got like a faint check mark on McKinney. That could switch, but either way, where are you? Maybe you can talk me into something a little more concrete.
I don't think Brendon can pull this off. I really don't. Okay, like the guys who are breaking McKinney, you know, they're good fighters. Drew Dober broke McKinney. Ishmael and still almost died. Ishmael Bonfim broke McKinney. I know we're low on him because he got submitted by our freaking guy BSD, But again, like I was talking about earlier, recency bias when people parlay up a guy and now he's a bum. And then, Nazim Sadykhov is also, he's very solid. And I think he would smoke a guy like Brendon Marotte. The thing with Brendon is he's a decent striker, but he doesn't have much else. He can wrestle a little bit. Good luck taking Terrance down. It's not going to be good enough. Terrance's wrestling is really, really good. I mean, it's super legit. You can see it on the ground. The hips on the guy, even when he's in a slightly bad position, he can reverse it. He can get back on top, keep those hips up high. And I think his striking is really good too. You don't really see too much crazy wild strikes. Those come once he's already got them hurt. But the 1-2s down the pipe, those are clean. The Frivola punch, it was right down the pipe. I cashed him there. That was really cool.
Nice.
But for me, like I pull up Brendon's last fight against Lionel Young, right? A 39-year-old man, and Lionel Young takes him down and controls him for 3 minutes. So what am I supposed to think here? I mean, I think Terrance McKinney is going to sub him. I think he can knock him out too, but I kind of think he's just going to go for the takedown and just get that quick sub. I think the guy does his tape. I think he's got a decent team behind him, and I'm fairly confident Terrance gets it done. Whether it's round 1, round 2, doesn't really matter to me. Am I going to play it? Going to have to see the odds. I think
it's like minus 500 right now.
Yeah, I'm not parlaying him. No, that's not going to happen. Love the guy, huge fan, but not going to do that. But if I can get a good sub price, maybe sub round 1, that'll be something I'll look at. If I can get like plus 375 on the first round submission, I'd put a third of a unit on that.
Do you have any concern that if for whatever reason Marotte survives for like a round and a half, that you're like, McKinney's going to slow down big? Are you worried about that at all or no?
I don't think he's good enough. I really
Fair
don't.
enough.
It's the same thing with like Brendon. I really wasn't concerned because I think it takes a certain kind of guy to actually be able to take advantage of that. We're kind of just assuming that anybody we put in front of Terrance McKinney, if it goes past a round and a half, he's done. And I don't subscribe to that. I think it's going to take special kinds of guys, legit guys, and I don't really think Brendon's there. So I think he's going to get smoked personally.
Well, it helps me out a lot because I was nervous because I'm like, like I said, I've watched 3 of his fights. I think I watched his 3 most recent. I could be wrong about that. I might have missed one in there and skipped down. But either way, yeah, I mean, I feel like I need a little more dive on it, just so I have more on the market board, honestly. But also, like, yeah, McKinney's good, but man, does he just mess stuff up sometimes. So, but I'm glad that you mentioned that because now, I mean, I feel a little bit better about picking McKinney because I do have a check mark next to his name, and that makes me nervous.
I'm with you, brother. And honestly, like I was talking about this with Clint yesterday on his show. I think there's going to be a point where we're going to see McKinney go all 3. I think there's going to be a point where he's going to get a guy who cannot break him, won't be good enough to break him, but will be durable and will be able to survive. And I feel like eventually we're going to get that. I don't think it's going to be here, but I do think it's coming. I think it's coming, and I'm going to be there with my plus 1,500 McKinney decision ticket, but it's not going to be this time.
That'd be wild.
Hey, man, it happens all the time.
It's true. Even if he's just barely hanging on the third, he can technically win a decision.
That's all we need. Worst case, you get a draw and get your money back.
That's true.
But we can move on to a more competitive fight, I would say, but maybe not even that much. We've got Tainara Lisboa versus Ravena Oliveira. Lisboa, she's 6'2" She's going to be 32 years old, 5'7" with a 67-inch reach. Oliveira 7'1" 126. She's 6 years younger, 2 inches shorter. Don't have her reach on me. I'll start us off here. So when I first saw the line, I see a woman who has one UFC fight and she's a minus 350 favorite. And of course, my first reaction is, okay, let's see what's up with the dog. I don't like the dog. I don't like her. I don't think she's very good, honestly. I think the record's a little bit inflated. I hate her striking. I really, really hate her striking. I really hate her striking defense. And her grappling's all right, but I don't think it's going to be good enough to take down and control Lisboa. I think Lisboa is going to piece her up on the feet. And then if for some reason she's uncomfortable, I think she can take it to the ground, and I think she can get a finish there as well. I ended up just going ITD. Played the ITD at minus 125, which is scary in women's MMA. But when I get someone like this, where I think she really should finish this like 6, 7 out of 10 times, like I'm going to play that. I'm going to take that 1 unit shot on that minus 120. Trust me, you guys know me. If you're watching this show, I like my dogs. I love to find the underdog angles. By far, my most profitable thing on Bet MMA is my huge underdogs. It's 33% ROI there. But you got to know when to pick them, and I don't think this is the spot. How about you, Tyler?
Yeah, so I actually have struggled to find enough positive notes for Oliveira. Oliveira. Ravena, I think it is. Yeah, Ravena Oliveira. I'm breaking her down, right? I'm like watching her fights or whatever, and I'm like, man, I don't know. We gotta try to find some notes. But okay, you said you don't like her striking. I do think when she's coming forward and with volume, she has fairly clean 1-2s and when she's walking somebody down. I'll give her that. But I'm grasping here because I'm trying to like give her stuff, and she does good at winning minutes in the cage push. So I'll give her that. Like she can hold somebody up against the cage and just kind of hold them there, and she does okay with that. And then she can start working for her takedowns from there. But yeah, no, like you said, Lisboa should just absolutely destroy her. She's a far better striker. She's got solid Muay Thai. She's good in the clinch, and on the ground, she's not bad either. She's got solid ground and pound because she takes that striking skill she has on the feet and puts that into her ground and pound. Yeah, Lisboa should win. I struggle to see a way that Oliveira wins this, and unfortunately, I don't even have enough notes to make it look good on a marker board. So I got to figure that out before I record my videos.
Sometimes you just can't, dude. I remember when me and Wiz were breaking down, I think last week's Contender Series, and we were talking about Medina.
Oh, dude.
I was like trying to go through my notes, and Liz was dying because my only good notes on him were he's thick and decent body shots. Those were my 2 good notes. It was all I had. And you know what? He still got a contract, so
unbelievable, honestly. But you know what?
That was the craziest thing this season, man. Craziest thing this season.
I agree. Easily the craziest.
I think Dana just needed someone who would take 2K to show, 2K to win, and then just feed him to some of his prospects and say goodbye.
Yeah, I mean, build some wins for some of the guys, for sure. I could see that. Give him 3, maybe 4 losses, and then just...
Who's he going to beat? There's nobody he can possibly beat.
Well, didn't he say he was gonna move him down in weight? What weight was he looking at? 155, 170?
No. He fought at 205. I think Dana said something about 185 or 170. Good luck.
170. That's right. Yeah.
Good luck with those legs getting him down to 170. Yeah,
because Dana said he was like at least 2 weight classes too big or something. So, but yeah, 170 is probably weight. Maybe. I know he was pretty chunky though. I don't know. Get him shredded.
Thick.
Get that boy on some liposuction.
Good luck.
But no, I don't think he gets a win.
Same. But we can move on to our next fight. This one's really fun. We got Darren Elkins versus TJ Brown. Elkins, he's going to be 27-11-0, 39 years old at this point. He's 5'10" with a 71-inch reach. TJ Brown, 17-10-0. He's 33, going to be 6 years younger, 1 inch shorter, and have a 1-inch reach advantage. Why don't you start us off, Tyler? What you got here?
So it's tough. This one I actually don't have a pick yet. So we might be making one right now. And here's why. I'm super low on TJ Brown. He's got good qualities, but he doesn't put them all together in a way that I like, in a way that I can feel confident in picking. Was he 3-2 in his last 5 fights, right? So, okay. But when you look at it, you're like, all right, now I understand why he's 3-2. Some of those wins, not that good. The losses, they make sense, right? For Darren Elkins, okay? Also 3-2 in the last 5. I had to double check to make sure I was right on that. He, as far as I'm concerned, has more skills, but he's 39. We've seen him start to regress, but his cardio is still there. TJ Brown, I don't know that he has the cardio to go 3 rounds. I think he needs to with a guy like Elkins, that is. Like, he has the cardio to go 3 rounds, don't get me wrong. But, like, with a guy that pushes a pace like Elkins, I don't know that he goes 3 rounds without just falling apart, because Elkins just go, go, go. Dude's got a motor for days, right? So I'm struggling a lot with this one. I'm looking at my notes, and I'm like, okay, TJ Brown's got good wrestling. Okay. Darren Elkins has better wrestling. Okay. TJ Brown's got decent striking. Darren Elkins has decent striking. Okay. I'm like, I'm struggling to make a pick, and everything in me wants to pick Darren Elkins, but I'm also like, man, this guy's like kind of going downhill a little bit because he's 39 and he's just like bleeds every time he could like get bit by a mosquito and just blood just starts trickling down his face, and you're like, what the heck? I don't know. Right now I'm leaning Elkins, but I might change that one. That is not set in stone. I don't even have a check mark on the paper yet. Like it's that unknown, but it might also be I want Elkins to win, so there's something in. I don't know. But where are you? Maybe you can convince me. Let's hear it.
I really want to bet Elkins. I really want to bet Elkins.
Yes.
Man, I've been a TJ Brown believer. I've made money on him. I've lost money on him. But ultimately, that fight IQ, it's special. It's just so special how bad it is, man. He's a better striker here. I've got really little doubt in that. Technique-wise, he's going to be the one throwing straight. Darren Elkins, at this point in his career, is just throwing wild every single time. Still working. Still got that output. Still got that pressure. But just technique-wise, I do think Brown is much cleaner. And, Brown's no slouch in the wrestling, too. He's a very solid wrestler. He's got very solid grappling. He's got a good submission game. Eric Silva, I know he was a debutant, all of that, but he was actually a pretty good submission grappler himself. Not a bum, I would say. And I thought TJ Brown handled that pretty well. I just think that Elkins can stuff TJ Brown's takedowns. Jonathan Pierce went 2-7, and JSP is a much better wrestler than TJ Brown. And he went 2-7 against Darren Elkins. And it's not like Darren Elkins was young at that point. It was 9 months ago. At worst, he was 38. So I just feel like Elkins will have the wrestling, and I feel like if TJ Brown can't get him out of there early, he's just going to start to crack. And I think that Elkins, like at this price, it really is. Oh man, it went down. Oh, that sucks. It was plus 175 like 2 hours ago, and now it's plus 152.
Other people are starting to see what we're seeing, I guess. Yeah,
that's a pass. I don't really have too much interest at that line. For me, it's definitely dog or pass. But I'm going to need a little bit better. If I can get back to plus 170-ish, maybe better. Maybe people will start parlaying TJ Brown. Then I'll get in. I won't be devastated if I don't have a bet on this fight, though.
I will say TJ Brown has looked a little better since he switched camps to start training with Thug Nasty down there. So he has looked better since then. But, yeah, I definitely agree that if you can get Darren Elkins around plus 170, plus 175, not a bad shot.
Yeah. And like fight camps, yeah, they'll help with your skill and maybe they can help you game plan, but they can't help your fight IQ mid-fight. Once those instincts kick in, and TJ Brown's instincts suck. It's just terrible.
Yeah. It takes a long time to change that.
Yep. When he lost to Shailan, I was just like, man, that was your fight. That was your fight. And he lost.
I'm pretty sure I bet Shailan in that one, so I was okay with it.
I bet TJ Brown, and I wanted to break my television. I was like, what are you doing, my brother?
I rarely bet on TJ Brown. In fact, I bet against him in most fights.
It's worked out for you, probably.
For most of them, yeah, especially the Algeo one. I bet so much on Algeo over him. And I was getting nervous in that first, but,
I actually don't remember what I did there.
I think I had Algeo in like 7 parlays or something crazy.
Did you see Bill Algeo's Instagram today?
No.
Bro,
I don't know if I follow him.
You know what he did? He put a clip of my short saying that I think Alexander Hernandez is better everywhere. He literally made a video out of it, bro. I was That's hilarious. Why? Literally, the worst part of capping for me is when you get it wrong and the fighters are just like, ha ha. Like, bro, I'm wrong.
It's happened to me a couple times on Contender Series, so I get it.
It was crazy, man. I was getting roasted in the comments. I had to make a comment. I was like, dude, I was wrong. Great performance. Just so you know, I back you most of the time. And he liked my comment. So hopefully we're cool. But I thought, dude, I woke up to that. I had a bunch of DMs like, yo, look at this. I couldn't believe it, man.
That's brutal. Dude, so Algeo, like, I bet Algeo over Hernandez at minus 120, thinking like, oh, that's great value. And then all of a sudden he flips to plus 100. And I'm like, well, shit. So I threw 5 units on him right when he like before the fight started, like earlier in the day or whatever, when he was like plus 100. I'm like, that's insane. And I realized that's also an insane bet. But I thought there was no way that Hernandez beats him. And I know a lot of people were on Hernandez. Obviously you were. But I was so confused. But he did impress me because I thought Hernandez was going to be toast after that first round against a guy like Algeo. I think the eye poke or whatever helped him because he got to catch his wind back because he looked good in that third. So, but yeah, I started to sweat a little bit when that eye poke happened. I was like, oh shit, he's going to catch his breath. But yeah, no, I was big on Algeo over Hernandez. It was one of my few good picks last week.
Hey, 5 units on Algeo plus 100. That turned out to be a sharp ass bet. That's a sharp bet, man.
Too bad I didn't put that one out on the Patreon. I'd already had my 5 bets before then.
You only do 5 bets max?
Yeah, because like otherwise what I'll do, I try to limit myself. The only legitimately the only reason, so like I'll do 5 actual bets and then I'll throw a couple like, tiny bets. Like I always do a $1 full card parlay, which never fucking hits, but I still do it. But either way, like I'll do a couple little like, $2 and $3 like crazy props here and there, but I only do like 5 legitimately like big bets, right? Or like normal unit bets. And the only reason I threw that on there is because I just thought that was absolutely absurd that he became the underdog against somebody who in Alex Hernandez, who's just not made for 145. In my opinion, I didn't think he was. Maybe he proved me wrong in that instance, but he still lost the fight, so my bet still cashed. But yeah, on Patreon, I just throw out 5 because I don't want to throw out like 40 bets. Because if I threw up every bet that I make on there, it'd look like, oh my gosh, this guy has like 100 bets. Yeah, most of them are for like $2. I have 5 actual bets I'm putting real money on. The rest are just ridiculous props or like full card parlays. So yeah, to answer your question, a long story.
I think we all do those $1 full card
parlays. Who doesn't?
I think we all do it. At the end of the day, even the people, like, I'm trying my best to really, only place bets I firmly believe in. But come on, you need a lotto ticket.
Dude, like, I've done it. I've actually hit a couple of them. I hit a 14-fight, not full card parlays, but a 14-fight multi-week $5 parlay that was like over like 4 weeks. And like there was like 6 of them were minus 1,000 or better. But hey, it hit, and I off of $5, I won like over 100. So I'm like, okay, that's legit. I got another one that's still working right now that I started last week, and I think it carries over to UFC 296 might be its last leg. But like it's like a 20-leg parlay for like $5, and it's probably gonna hit. Although if the news about Oliveira is true,
it is true. I think it's like fully confirmed at this point.
Oh,
even Aaron Bronstater put something out.
Brutal, dude. Makhachev was gonna destroy him again.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that sucks. That was my biggest. I know I'm rambling here. I'm sorry, but that was my biggest bet. Or second biggest bet I've ever made in my life was Islam Makhachev at minus 190 over Charles Oliveira. I bet so much money on that guy.
So did I.
I literally opened a new sports book and max bet it the second that it let me place a bet just to do it.
Yeah, and I think he was going to do it all over again, man. But
easy.
Hey, a Volk fight?
I'm passing on. I will not bet that.
I want to see the line. Volk on short notice is concerning. But if they give me Volk plus 300, I'm an Islam guy all day. But low-key, I think there was an argument for Volk winning that last fight.
It was so close.
And if you give me plus 300 on a guy who literally just had an amazingly close fight with Islam, I'm going to have to change my tune and play him. I had Islam in there.
No way they give you plus 300. No way.
Short notice.
Even money is where that should be. That was so close.
I mean, if it's even money, I'm going to go hard on Islam. I do still think he wins. And it's short notice, man. It's literally a week and a half short notice.
Dude, Volk just gets so much better every single fight. It's terrifying. That dude, like, he's got so much confidence, and then every fight, his skill catches up to his confidence. It's unreal.
It's a mindset, man. I think it's the mindset with him. He's just got this elite mindset. But what was I about to say? Oh, yeah, it's kind of weird, though. Gamrot literally a few days ago said he just found out he's the backup.
Oh, yeah.
And they're just like, sorry, buddy. We picked a better backup.
I think they realized Gamrot would just get slaughtered.
Yeah, if they do Gamrot, I'm all in on Islam. Good luck, buddy.
I don't care what the odds are. Minus 1,000, I'll go take out a loan on that. Like, Islam just destroys him. Won't even be close. Islam's so good.
We say that, then the fight happens, and Islam gets submitted or some crap like that.
No way. Short of like a fluke, like, oh, he just like breaks his leg or like has a heart attack. No way. No way.
Yeah.
Gamrot's not
really
going to
don't
beat
think
Islam.
so.
Wouldn't be close.
I honestly think at lightweight, really the only person who can beat Islam right now is like Alex coming up, Volk
Easy.
coming up. That's
That's
really
it.
I would love
Nobody
to see
else is even
Armin.
close.
I'd love to see Armin, but I still think Armin would lose as much as I love him.
Yep. Yeah, no, Islam's so good. And I know everybody hates when I say that. He's so good. He's so clean on the feet, so good in the grappling. His fight IQ is pretty damn good too. He is so good everywhere. The only person that has a chance is Volkanovski. And I think, so this is a hypothesis I came up with the other day. I think Volkanovski's confidence stems from the fact that he's just blessed with like a 12-inch dick. And he just like, from that, he's just like the most confident man in the room, no matter where he goes. And that just makes him better and better every time. And that dude just is fantastic. I have no idea if that's true. I'm just like, how else could somebody be this confident at 5'6"? That's the only thing that makes any sense to me.
Yeah, the dude's a stud, man. But back to this card.
Yeah.
We've got a great matchup here. We got Christian Rodriguez versus Cameron Saaiman. Rodriguez, he's going to be 9-1-0, 25 years old, 5'7" with a 71-inch reach. I believe he's at fight ready now. Saaiman, 9-0, 22. He's going to be 3 years older, 1 inch taller, and he's going to have a 4-inch reach disadvantage. We all know he trains with Dricus over at CIT. I'll start us off here. And look, like, I was on Rodriguez against, what's his name? Rosas Jr. I thought that was an amazing underdog spot, cashed it. And leading up to this fight, I said the same thing. If I get underdog money on C-Rod, I'm all in. And then I get minus 170 C-Rod, plus 145 Saaiman. And I'm thinking, okay, this is kind of off because C-Rod's great. He's great. Don't get me wrong. He's a stud, but so is Saaiman. And I know he's 22. I know he makes a lot of mistakes, but I think the line should be tighter than that. And it is tightening up. I played that plus 145. Look, in terms of a breakdown, I get it with C-Rod because I've always had this problem with Saaiman, right? His takedown defense. I really don't like it. Even when he was coming onto the Contender Series, I literally bought an EFC membership because it was the only way to watch his last fight. He had a 5-rounder title fight against a guy who I believe was like 8-6-0. And the dude won like 2-3 rounds via grappling. And that was a major red flag for me. And then again, in the Contender Series fight, Kim took him down, I think, like 3 times. And even Terrance Mitchell took him down 1 time in their last fight, you know? So the ground game is definitely a concern for me. But at the same time, while he is getting taken down, he's very difficult to control. You know, you look at that fight against, what's his name? Steven Kozlov, right? Kozlov got 5 takedowns, but who got more control time? Saaiman. Saaiman got 6 minutes of control time. You know, he got more because he can scramble. He's a very good scrambler. He's got great abilities there. And on the feet, you know, I'm seeing a lot about C-Rod being the better striker, and I'm not sold on that. I'm not really sold. Like, when I was going to bet him, it wasn't because I thought he was the better striker. It's because I saw that grappling angle, and I thought he could hang on the feet. But I actually think Saaiman's a little bit cleaner. I think he's a little crisper. I think he's faster for sure. And maybe at range with that reach advantage, 4 inches, that is, you know, important. That's definitely significant. Christian Rodriguez could probably land a good amount at range, probably beat him up there. But Saaiman's not going to leave it there much. You know, he comes forward. He's going to bring it to the pocket. And there, I think he's going to be the one landing cleaner. I do think he can scramble. And, you know, the guy can wrestle too. I wouldn't be shocked if he got his own takedowns. Reyes Cortez took down C-Rod 2 times. Wouldn't be tremendously shocked if Saaiman was able to do it too. So plus 145, I had to get in. He's now plus 125, you know. I think it's okay. But the closer it gets, the more, you know, I still think C-Rod is the rightful favorite. The only reason I was going to hammer him as an underdog is because I thought he was a rightful favorite because of that grappling hole. But I played Saaiman plus 145. I like that spot quite a bit. 22, he's going to be improving every single fight. So is C-Rod. He's only 25, but I think Saaiman, you know, at 22, I think we're going to see it a little bit quicker, that progression. I will say one thing, though, about Saaiman that I don't love. It's the camp, right? It's great that he's training with Dricus. It's great now. But first of all, Dricus has no technique. Dricus is just meme god. I mean, the guy just comes out there and gets the job done no matter how little sense it makes. You know, Derek Brunson is rocking him all over the place. And then he comes in and knocks out Robert Whittaker. I feel like that's not, in terms of like technique, are they really having that much skill over there in that camp? And then the other major thing for me is he doesn't have anybody his weight there, at least that we know of. He doesn't have anybody who's 135 who at least is good or has a name to him. He's training with Dricus. That's his partner. And it's important to get looks against guys your size, in your weight class. And I think that's really important. I hope at some point he either brings in some good guys over there or he goes to another camp. But I do think that's worth saying. And last thing I want to say, I think it's still there. I think it's still somehow there. Hold up. Let me double check. It is. Dude, Saaiman by submission is plus 1,600. He can scramble. He's threatened subs before. And I mean, the guillotine's going to be there if C-Rod shoots. Do I think it's a high likelihood? Hell no. But plus 1,600, I'm going to put a tenth of a unit on it. So I did that, and I did the money line. What are you thinking here, Tyler?
So that's the thing. I think I'm going to totally pass on this one as far as like betting. I think this fight is razor thin, razor close, and there's a couple of intangibles there. And like you said, the striking, I think both guys are about equal in the striking department, skill for skill, just for different things, right? So if one's better at this, one's better at, at this. I think as you weigh them out, they're about even in just overall striking. Very similar in the grappling. I have them listed on my notes the same, both on their striking and grappling as far as like where I rate them for different things, but in the overall encompassing of that, I think they're equal, right? But here's the tricky part. Cameron Saaiman is a dirty fighter, whether anybody thinks it or not. He's a dirty fighter. Now, it depends on who the referee is as to whether or not that's going to play in his favor or against him. If the referee just takes a point right away, yeah, Rodriguez should probably get the win because he's probably going to get a decision where he's got a free point given to him. And if you give him a free point, I really think he wins. However, if they're not taking points and Saaiman's just doing dirty stuff and just getting the win because he kicks him in the balls, pokes him in the eye, stuff like that, that messes you up. Like, I don't know when the last time you've been poked in the eye is, but it takes a while to recover. 5 minutes isn't enough, dude. Your eye waters for the rest of the time. Like, if you get poked in the eye good, like, it's gonna be bothering you for like a couple hours, right? So I don't know, man. He's a dirty fighter, so like it makes me want to pick him. But then on the other hand, I'm like, well, if he gets a point taken, I don't see him winning. But as far as skill for skill, I think it's super close. So far, I haven't even marked the paper yet, so there's not even a check. But so far, my slightest lean, just like in my initial like knee-jerk reaction, was to take Rodriguez. But I don't think it's worth betting, and I think I'll make a pick, and it'll probably be one of those where it's like, yeah, just watch this one, kick back, put your feet up on the coffee table, crack open a nice cold root beer, have yourself a good time. That's what I'm thinking on this fight. But for the sake of making a pick, so far I'm leaning Rodriguez.
Fair game. And two things I need to bring up. First of all, Finney didn't get a contract.
Oh, no shit. I mean, he definitely was getting rocked bad.
Yeah, but you're going to give it to Medina?
That's a good point. That's a good point.
Finney kills Medina. He kills him.
They also didn't give a contract to Daniel James Allen, who looked like a stud. And, that was one of my finer moments on DWCS this year because I picked him. Nobody else did, or not nobody, but,
And the other thing I wanted to bring up, according to Aaron Bronstetter, it's looking like Khamzat Costa might be off as well.
No!
Because of Costa's arm injury that he just talked about.
That's another leg on my parlay gone, too.
I just lost my parlay, both legs. Both of my legs just fell off. I had Islam Khamzat.
Dude, and that was a beautiful parlay.
Yep. People
Khamzat destroys Costa.
Swear all they wanted. That was going to hit, and now we'll never know.
They need to find a replacement for Khamzat, though. Dude hasn't fought in over a year.
I'll be really upset if they don't.
All right. I don't have a passport, so I'll have trouble, but I'll fight him.
How about Dricus?
Dude, that'd be sick.
They should drag in. That's a fight. Yo.
Dude.
I'm going to post that later. That is a fight right there.
That would be – oh, man, that'd be so good. I'd bet on Khamzat probably, but, like, that's scary because Dricus somehow just wins fights.
That's why it would be so much fun. Khamzat would, on paper, should kill him. But
absolutely.
He might not. He might not. If he goes into war with him like he did with Burns, Dricus might look like the favorite, I mean, the guy's got some pop on that punch. I'm literally writing this down. I gotta post this. That's genius.
Smart. Honestly, though, like at middleweight, I'd bet Hamzat over anybody, but that one's probably one I'd have to think twice on just because Dricus somehow wins fights. So
two guys I don't like touching, like betting against, even though I don't think they're any good. Dricus and freaking Roman Dolidze, man. Dude. Both of them just meme win after meme win. But you know what? He deserved that win against Vettori. I'm glad he didn't get it because I needed that money. But I felt he beat Vettori, which was shocking.
He did beat Vettori, and I bet on him. Go, gosh darn, I was pissed.
Makes sense.
Actually, I've got a buddy, right, that he's not like a big MMA guy. He just like kind of he's a casual. He's the definition of a casual. He bet huge on Dricus to beat Robert Whittaker, and I was like, dude, that's not a good bet. And he's just like, nah, man, my guy Dricus is gonna get it. And I'm like, do you know who Robert Whittaker is? He's like, I have no idea who that is, but Dricus is the man. And I'm like, okay. And then like as soon as he won, he sends me a text. He's like, bro, that hit. I told you it was gonna hit. I'm like, God, I'm such a loser. I feel like such a loser. Because my buddy that like he just occasionally watches like a pay-per-view, does not watch the fight nights, does not give two craps, and he's like, dude, Dricus is so good. I felt like such an idiot when that hit, and I was like, I can't believe this.
I have one friend. He's an MMA fan, but like he doesn't watch like we do. He doesn't analyze fights. He'll come to my house for the fights, bet the main event against me, and cash it every single time.
Brutal.
I want to stop inviting him, but I like him too much, so I can't do that. But
I'd be like, dude, you got to leave before the main event.
That's literally that stuff's the worst. But let's move on.
Let's move on. We've got off track.
Going off on these tangents. We've got another fun fight. This is a rematch, and I just noticed some big line movement. Got Edgar Chairez versus Daniel Lacerda. The rematch. Chairez is 10-5-0. Should be 10-5-1, no? I don't know. 27 years old, 5'7" with a 72-inch reach. He is an Entram gym guy. Lacerda 11-5-0. He's also 27, 1 inch shorter, 2-inch reach disadvantage, and he's the classic shoot box guy. And why don't you start us off?
Okay, so I believe you're on the opposite side of me on this one. I got Chairez, and my coach used to tell me, he would say that losing is a habit. You could have all the skill in the world, but if you just keep losing, it's ingrained in your head. And then for whatever reason, you're going to find a way to lose the fight. Because there's a lot of guys that I know that he knows that we all knew that are on the regional scene around here that they got all the skill in the world in the gym, but like they go out there to fight and all of a sudden they just lose. It becomes a habit when it starts happening to you. And for whatever reason, Lacerda just can't win a fight. He would have lost that fight. Like there's no way he won that, like was going to win that fight. That choke was in so deep. It's not like he was going to get out of that choke. I mean, short of just riding out for the end of the round, I guess that's possible. So I got to take Chairez here because he pretty much won that fight. But like Lacerda's dangerous and he's really stinking dangerous. And in every single fight, he's looked really dangerous. But yeah, I got to take Chairez. What about you? I know you're on Lacerda, but let's hear it.
I am on Lacerda, and here's what I'm thinking. So first of all, you know, I don't know jits. My only background that I know is wrestling. I did that. I don't know jiu-jitsu. But anybody I've spoken to who does has said, like, a standing guillotine like that is very, very difficult to finish. And, you know, Lacerda was doing the right things, right? You want to completely relax. That gave the ref the wrong impression, unfortunately. But you know what? I'm glad that they did what they did with calling it a no contest and saying that it's a short stoppage, because I believe that's the first time that has ever happened. And I think it's a precedent that should have been set long ago, where if there's an early stoppage that is clear as day, you should call it a no contest, at least in my opinion.
It's happened in Bellator before. Sal Rogers, Davey Gallen, I believe. Because my bet pushed when I had Sal Rogers to win inside the distance, and I got ripped off. But either way,
was it an early stoppage? I don't remember that, Scrap.
I mean, it kind of it was kind of similar, but like he had him locked up. It was, I mean, he was going to go out, but the ref came in early, and he couldn't tell that he wasn't unconscious because both of his arms were trapped and his legs were locked up too. It was I believe it was like an anaconda or a darce. I can't remember which one it was. That's off the top of my head. So like, I understand why the ref stopped it. And then he realized he wasn't out. And I'm like, oh, no. Because, like, I was so celebrating. I had him inside the distance. Sal Rogers got the win. Good deal. Also was a leg of a parlay. And then no. So, you know. But, yeah, so it's happened once before in Bellator that I've seen. But, yeah, I've never seen it in the UFC.
Wait, did it happen with Argueta, Ronnie Lawrence?
Oh, shit. You're right. Yeah, nope. So it's happened in the UFC before. Okay, well, there's been 3 times.
There we go. But, yeah, so for the breakdown, you know, for me, I don't know how you can watch that round and be like, yeah, Chairez minus 360 right now, or Chairez minus 300. Lacerda's plus 295 right now. I got him a plus 255. Mike, dude, for me, this is what I saw. I saw Chairez land more, but I saw Lacerda land better. I saw a Lacerda who came out there completely different from all his other UFC appearances. He did not come out there running for that kill. He fought smart. He fought slow. He was taking his time. He was being patient. That's a big thing you want to see. And, you know, he's young, so he's going to pick up these things. And I'm very happy to see that he is. And he got that takedown pretty damn easy. You know, he got that takedown. He was in control. And I just think that this line's way off. I think it should be much closer. I think Lacerda very much can win this fight. And we can't take that much from that last one. I think to make Chairez such a heavy favorite after that is silly. Lacerda clearly has the grappling edge. We already knew that Chairez doesn't have good takedown defense. Lacerda has shown good wrestling, and he has shown good jiu-jitsu. Even in that first fight against Jeff Molina, had his back for the entire round, had his back the whole time. So I think that, you know, with that ground game, he's going to have an edge. With the striking, I think it's close. And I will give credit to Chairez. He is active off his back. He might give Lacerda hell for a bit. But I think between that and Lacerda just being smarter now, I hope. Now I'm going to say all this. He's going to charge in there head first into another guillotine. But at plus 255, I felt that it was off enough that I was even willing to put a unit and not just half a unit. So I went a unit on plus 255. If you agree with my breakdown, if you think I make sense, it's currently plus 295. I would say play it if you're agreeing with me. But hey, I totally get the other arguments. I totally get not trusting Lacerda. For me, it's probably dogger pass. I just don't think you should parlay Chairez. I think that's kind of a crazy thing to do. And Chairez ITD is minus 160, so I wouldn't do that either, honestly.
What's the ITD on Lacerda?
Worse than his money line.
What?
Plus 235, and his money line's plus 295.
Okay, yeah, I guess play his money line if you're going to play him. That's insane. That makes no sense.
It happens when there's a spike in line movement, because I think this happened in the last hour. Yeah, it happened in the last hour or two. And I guess the bookies just have not had time to adjust that ITD yet, because it's literally 6 cents off. So,
in fact, you're right. Actually, that happened last week with Abdul Razak Al Hassan to win in round 1 ended up being better than round 1 knockout. And you're just like, well, what?
Meme subs happen.
Right. But like they assumed that the knockout, like that didn't make any sense actually. So yeah, so that happened. But it was a quick spike, I think, probably in the change. But so it does happen, I guess.
Yep.
But yeah, no, you're right. I think Lacerda, I think the line's wide, but I can't play him. I can't trust him. Dude literally has 0 wins in his last 5 fights. 0-4 and no contest.
It's hard to put money on a guy like that. I totally get it.
I can't do it.
Get it. But I had to shoot my shot. Had to do it.
Fair.
But we can move on. Next up, we've got Michel Pereira fighting Andre Petroski. Petroski's on short notice. I believe very short notice. I think this got made like yesterday or 2 days ago.
Something like that.
Pereira 28, 11-0. He's 30 years old still, despite looking like a 40-year-old man. 6'1" with a 73-inch reach. On the other side, Petroski 10-1-0, 32. He's 2 years older, 1 inch shorter, same reach. I do think it's important to say, because people don't really realize yet, Renzo Gracie Philly doesn't exist anymore. It's not a gym as far as I understand from what I've been told. They've all split up. They're at a bunch of different places. I know a few of them are at Marquez. So I'm sure he's still at a good gym, but you shouldn't operate under the assumption that he's over here grinding with Sean Brady, because I'm pretty sure he's not anymore. And I'll start us off for this one. I like Michel Pereira so much. I really, really like him here. I got him at minus 135. I think the line has kind of run away a little bit. I still think he's the rightful favorite. Would I play minus 185? Not really. But look, he's going to be so much more physical. I know he's the one coming up in weight here somehow, but he's still taller. He's always been a tremendous welterweight. And now you're giving him more pounds to work with. I mean, he's going to look huge. He's going to be a unit in there. I think he's the much better striker personally. I know he does those stupid, funky things, but it has been good to see that recently he's been cleaning it up. You know, instead of doing 10 backflips and one jab, he'll do one backflip and some combinations. You know, he's a lot more responsible. I'm not seeing as many backflips on the walkouts. It really looks like he's trying to take his career serious, and I think he can go somewhere because I think he's a really talented dude, and he's got an insane build that we just don't see often, you know? I think that, like I said, in the striking, he's much better. We just saw Petroski have a very hard time with GM3 on the feet. I love GM3. Back him all the time. He's the prospect breaker, but you shouldn't be getting outstruck by GM3. And if you are, Michel Pereira is going to be beating you up. I think Michel Pereira is also really explosive and powerful. I think he's very live to finish Petroski on the feet. And Petroski, he's a great wrestler. Don't get me wrong. Definitely a really good wrestler. And he's got really good jiu-jitsu. And you put those two together and you get a guy who can control people on the ground. But Michel Pereira is a difficult guy to control. I know he hasn't fought a wrestler like Andre Petroski. I think that's a fair point to make. But I just have a really hard time seeing Petroski actually hold him down. And then, like I said, and then once we're on the feet, I think it's Pereira all day long. I do regret not going harder at minus 135. I put 1.35 to win one. But, hey, I was responsible. I'll stick with it. I like the spot. How about you, Tyler?
So yeah, I was on – I'm picking Pereira to win, right? Here's the problem. I missed the line because I talked myself into thinking that there's a chance that I'm just biased because I just don't like Andre Petroski. Dude should move to Transnistria where they want him. We don't want him here. Whatever. Soviet Union's dead, dude. I just can't stand that guy. Probably for reasons that aren't justified, but whatever. Either way, so I was like, oh, man, you're just biased. You think Petroski's annoying. He's kind of a crybaby. Whatever. So I didn't want to – I was like, okay, Pereira, right? But then I was like, am I just thinking that because I don't like Petroski? Probably. So then I let the line go, and the next thing I know, I'm like, oh, no, this is out of reach now. Now it's too high. Because I do think that that he is going to be able to give Pereira trouble in the grappling. I think in the wrestling specifically, Petroski's pretty good. As much as I don't like him, he's a good wrestler. He's darn good at it. But yeah, I mean, Pereira's the better striker, you'd have to imagine. And he's a good grappler. He's not bad. He's got good jiu-jitsu. He's got good sweeps. He has decent takedowns in his own right. I don't think he's going to be using that as far as like his offensive takedowns, but he does have them. So I'm picking Pereira partially because I don't like Petroski, partially because I think he's going to win. I don't like that this is his first fight at middleweight because this is another thick, big middleweight. But you know, whatever. Yeah, I'm going Pereira, but if the line stays where it's at, if it doesn't get closer, I can't bet him.
Yeah, at this line, I think it's a fair pass, definitely. Because Pereira, like I said, while he started fighting smarter, you never know when he's going to start doing backflips in there again. When was it? Was it the Nico Price fight where he literally illegally stomped his face because he did a backflip into his head?
I think that was the one, yeah. See, that's the stuff that you're like, man, you can't bet this guy at these odds. Because like any normal fighter that has the skill of Pereira at these odds over Petroski, I'd be like, oh, all right. But like, yeah, I don't know, man. He just does dumb stuff sometimes.
He does such dumb stuff. I love it, though.
He does have a very nice flying knee that he does not have to, like, set up, right? He doesn't have to do the thing where you, like, crouch down and jump. He doesn't have to double clutch it. He just jumps in that knee's there, and it's very nice. I do like that a lot.
We saw those knees against the crotch sniffers today.
Mm-hmm.
2 in a row.
They can definitely land.
My guy Davi, dude, I watched round 1. I was like, Davi got this. I know everybody was like, oh, he's going to gas. He's going to gas. If you've watched this tape, you know he's not going to gas. That's how he always fights. But props to Roca. You know, I think Roca was going to lose that fight more often than not, but that was very, very clean. And then it happened immediately again, like the next fight. So, hey, if Petroski's not careful, he can get caught too.
100%. And hopefully that happens. So there we go. I was ecstatic when Brian Battle beat him.
Were you?
Oh, yeah. Loved it. I still watch The Ultimate Fighter, so I'm one of those people.
I only watch the fights, but I still like watching those at least.
For sure.
But moving on, we've got a striker's delight. We got Jonathan Martinez versus Adrian Yanez. Martinez is 18-4-0, 29 years old. He's 5'8" with this, let's call it a 70-inch reach. And I believe he's another Factory X guy. Yanez, 16-4-0. He's going to be 29, same age, 1 inch shorter, same reach at 70 inches. And Metro Fight Club is what we've got here. You know, I'll start us off. I get why people played Martinez early. It's because the line was insane. Like, Martinez opened plus 250. Like, that's an easy play. You know, that's an easy play in a fight that's going to be competitive and where Martinez does have an angle. But at Pick'em, I think this is Yanez, you know. I think this is Yanez all day. And we spoke about this earlier. I brought it up a few times. I think, again, recency bias. People parlayed Yanez to hell against Rob Font. Said that he would piece him up. They lost. I bet Rob Font there. Felt like he shouldn't have been the underdog. And I'm still not throwing Yanez in the trash because I don't think like we should just be thinking lowly of him after that. And on top of that, I certainly didn't remember it this way. In my mind, pre-tape, it was Rob Font from bell to bell. That wasn't the case. That wasn't the case at all. I actually think Yanez was winning. I think Yanez was winning until that final exchange where Rob started picking it up and then got him. So I feel like a lot of people are looking at this with like rose-colored glasses or whatever the saying is. I think that Yanez is still very much a prospect. I think he still is very much a really good striker. I think he's cleaner than Martinez. I think in the pocket, he's going to be cleaner, and I think he's going to be faster. I do think he's got the hand speed advantage here by quite a margin. I like Martinez's striking a lot, but he doesn't throw his hands enough for me. He's like Chris Gutierrez. They train together. They love those leg kicks, and they're super effective. And against a boxer like Yanez, yeah, that might help. But first of all, if you're throwing it empty without setting up with your hands, Yanez is going to be touching you up. And then if they're not really affecting him that much and you're not using your hands, I think it's Yanez. So can Martinez win? Yes. It's a very close fight in my opinion, but at Pick'em, I think Yanez was pretty generous. I played him for minus 110 at 1.1 unit to win one. But there's one play on here that I really love, and you've probably seen it. Yanez by decision yesterday, I don't think it's there anymore, was plus 425, which to me doesn't make any sense at all. Fight goes to decision is only plus 130. Martinez by decision is plus 275. But it's Pick'em, and you give me Yanez at plus 425. I get why. It's because people don't like the chin of Martinez. He's been dropped by guys who should not have dropped him, like Alejandro Perez. So I get it. But I think that he is durable. I think he is still durable. I think Yanez wins the fight, but I actually think he wins by decision. So I actually put a full unit on that decision prop at plus 425. I never do that. I almost never play like props with those odds for a full unit. But I really like it. Like, the more I think about it, the second I saw it, I was like, Mike, this doesn't make any sense. We have to play this. So put a unit on it, and then I put a unit on the money line to cover myself just in case he does get that knockout, because I totally understand. Martinez, he has had chin issues. I'm just not ready to say he's chinny personally. How about you, Tyler? What are you thinking for this one?
Well, I do think the fight goes to decision, so I might actually just play that. But I think it's razor thin. I think it's a close fight. I think it's a super close fight. I think the line was accurate at minus 110 apiece. I'm on the Martinez side, but not for the reasons that a lot of people are, that you think, oh, Yanez is not that good. I think it's going to be fought at his range more often than it's going to be fought at Yanez's range. I think Martinez is going to be able to keep the distance and use his kicks, and then win the fight when the Yanez tries to crash the distance and come in, use his boxing, getting close. That's when Martinez is going to throw knees up the middle and use his hands to separate and go back to kicking range. And I think that's where we're going to end up most of the time, at kicking range. I think it's going to be close. But his win, even though I still am not sure he won over Said Nurmagomedov, I bet on Nurmagomedov though, so I am biased. So that win over that, even though if even if it wasn't a win, if say the judges gave it to Nurmagomedov in that one, it was a good fight, and he looked really good. And I think Said Nurmagomedov should beat Yanez as well. So in a fight like that, when he is that close with a guy who I think pretty highly of, I'm going to say, okay, he gets a lot of stock up from that, right? So I lean Martinez, but only a little. And I wouldn't bet him as a favorite, especially not a big favorite, which is, what is he, minus 125 right now or something like that last I saw. I wouldn't bet him there, but I'd rather just sit back and watch this fight. Maybe the fight goes to decision as a bet if it's, like you said, plus 130 or something. And I think Yanez is good, and he's got that shot. And if he gets in boxing range and he's able to do that, he could get the win. But I'm taking Martinez, and I might regret it. Who knows?
It'll be a good fight nonetheless.
For sure.
But we can move on. And next up, we've got a fight that honestly I really don't care for, unfortunately, and it's the co-main event. We got Jennifer Maia versus Viviane Araujo. Maia is 21-9-1. She's 35 years old, 5'4" with a 64-inch reach. Shoot box, but not Diego Lima, as far as I'm aware. Araujo 11-5-0, 36 years old, 5'4" as well, 4-inch reach advantage, training out of Serato MMA. Why don't you start us off for this one?
Yeah, Jennifer Maia is probably getting this one done. I bet her at like minus 130 or minus 135. Can't remember which. It's on the Patreon for anybody that wants to know. I bet her there. I like her. I think she wins. I think she's got better volume. I think she's cleaner on the feet. I mean, Araujo's got some paths to victory, but not nearly as many. I think Jennifer Maia gets it done probably. Oh shoot! I think way better than the odds suggest. I think she gets it done at least 70% of the time. At least. I don't know what the odds are at right now, I guess, but yeah, I think Jennifer Maia is going to be better on the ground. She's going to be better on the feet. Araujo just needs to negate everything. I don't know. I just don't see Araujo winning. So what do you got?
Well, first off, if you think 70%, that gives Maia minus 233. So
I'd bet her at anything below that for sure.
Really?
Yep.
Yeah, I really think she should win, but at minus 150, I don't have too much interest. Araujo isn't bad. She's had some rough performances. Amanda Ribas, I think we're kind of looking at it like, oh, she lost to Ribas. Ribas just got murked. But, she hurt Ribas. She hurt her there. I remember that. And even in the Alexa Grasso 5-rounder, she held her own against the champion. She didn't get spanked by any means. She had a decent performance there against a woman who's very, very good and is currently our champion at the weight class. I still think Jennifer Maia should win. She's got really good boxing, and I've doubted her several times now, and I'm no longer doing that. I think she is a good striker. I used to not think so. Few issues. I don't think she's great at range. I think she really needs to work from up close. And I don't know how good her takedown defense really is. I feel like when Jessica I is taking you down 2 times, it's probably not the best thing in the world. And I think the only reason her takedown defense, we don't know too much more about it, is most people don't want to go there with her because she doesn't have a really, really good ground game. She is a legit jiu-jitsu practitioner. But Araujo's got a good ground game too. And Araujo can wrestle, And I also think her striking is pretty good. So for me, I think the fight is actually really close. I would have played Maia at minus 130 if I had the chance. I didn't have time to tape it in time. I've been doing so much recently, but especially with the Contender Series, it's been a grind. And I think my performance has been showing it recently because I think I've starting to wear on me a little bit. But yeah, I think Maia should win. But at these odds, it's... You know what? I just think it's a pass. If Araujo hits like plus 150, I might take a shot because I do think it's close. But right now, I don't have any interest.
What's in your opinion, what's Araujo's best path to victory?
Decision. I think grappling, decision, keeping it close on the feet. Because Maia's good on the feet, but like, is she doing anything where it's like, wow? Like, is she popping heads back? Is she causing massive damage? I think out of the two of them, if someone's got power, it's actually Araujo. She's got some decent power for the weight class. So I think she could win a decision. I think it's going to be a really close fight. Maybe fight ends in split might be a look. Not a bet I ever make, really, but maybe this is the time. But we can move on to our main event, a fight I care a lot more about. We got Sodiq Yusuff versus Edson Barboza. Yusuff is 13-2-0. He's 30 years old, 5'9" with a 71-inch reach. On the other side, you got Barboza, 23-11-0. 37 years old. He's going to be 5'11", so he's going to be 2 inches taller and have a 4-inch reach advantage. And I don't know if you've seen the recent pictures of him, but holy hell, he looks ripped, bro. He looks gigantic. Yeah, so I'll start us off here. I think this is a great fight. I do favor Yusuff, just because for me, this is kind of a changing of the guard fight. We've got two guys who are pretty similar. I think in his prime, Barboza is a much better striker than Yusuff, who I believe is about in his prime. But where we are now, I think it's pretty close. I think Barboza hits harder, but I think that Yusuff will bring more volume. And it'll really just come down to, can Barboza hurt him? You know, because if he can hurt him, if he can show it to the judges, or if he can finish him, then he can win this fight. But I think that if Yusuff can stay safe, especially in those early rounds, you know, when was the last time we saw Barboza go 5 rounds? I know Yusuff has never done it, but Yusuff's not the guy who's 37 here. You know, Yusuff's not the guy like 23-11. That's 34 fights. In MMA age, Barboza's like 55. You know, in MMA years, he's much older. So I think he's live, but I like Yusuff here. I think he wins this. I think he probably wins by decision. And, you know, I also think he can mix in the wrestling. Is he some kind of stud wrestler? No, absolutely not. But it doesn't really take a stud wrestler to take down Edson Barboza. And like Barboza's knockout of Billy, that was very impressive. But I think that a lot of us kind of saw that coming. You know, at least for me, the reason I played Barboza knockout there, I didn't even touch his money line. I just went straight to the knockout because what does Billy Q do constantly? Ducks his damn head like this when he's striking. And I was like, Barboza's going to knee him. Barboza need him. I don't really see those kinds of mistakes coming from Yusuff, you know? Yes, he's having close fights with guys like Chairez. I get that. I don't think the Arnold Allen loss is a terrible look. You know, Arnold Allen is a stud too. At minus 150, which is what I got, I felt like Yusuff was the play. So I played him to win 1 unit, 1.5 units to win 1. Minus 160, you know, I don't think I guess it's still playable, but I wouldn't go too crazy. I think it could be close, you know. And Barboza, he's a scary man. I know it was like 2 years ago, but what he did to Shane Burgos just literally beat him to the point where Shane's body said, we can't do this anymore, and just went out. So I still think he's got it. I still think he's live, but I just think we're seeing a changing of the guard in this one, and I think Yusuff's going to pull it off. How about you, Tyler?
So this is another one where I don't have anything written down as far as who's going to win. Because so it's one of those things where like my one part of me is telling me, oh yeah, Yusuff should win this. He's the younger guy. He's this, and this, all these skills. And then there's something else pulling me like, yo, Barboza's just going to knock him out. And like, I seriously cannot make a pick yet. Like I'm trying my hardest right now to give myself a reason to pick one or the other. But this is a 5-round fight where Barboza has 5 whole rounds to knock him out, to knock out Yusuff. Okay, I mean, that's not crazy to think. Barboza, like you said, he looks bodied up. Dude looks shredded. He also is a super, super solid striker. Like that dude, like if he hits you, you're going to feel it, right? Yusuff's good too. Sodiq Yusuff's very good. I think, like you said, he's probably going to have more volume. If it goes to decision, Sodiq Yusuff probably wins. But I'm struggling to make a pick because I've gone back and forth, right? Sodiq Yusuff younger. He's shorter with a shorter reach. You got Edson Barboza, longer range reach, way better striking. I mean, maybe not way better striking, but way more damaging striking. Dude hits like a freight train. And, gosh, I don't know. Like, my brain is telling me pick Yusuff, but there's something in the back of my head that's like, yeah, dude, don't do that. You gotta pick Barboza. So, oh, geez. I was hoping that your argument for it would be like, oh yeah, so and so's gonna win by like easy this, but it wasn't. Yeah. So, gosh dang it. Give me Barboza. I'll take Barboza for like my pick. It might change when I put out my video tomorrow. it's gonna be late tomorrow night when I get that video out. But for now, give me Barboza, and like it might just be I'm rooting for Barboza. I don't know. I have I wouldn't bet this fight. No chance.
Yeah, I just pulled up DraftKings. I wanted to see if it's out yet. Maybe Yusuff decision only. I don't know if it's going to be playable, but if it is, that might be a pretty good spot because I have a hard time seeing Barboza winning the decision. He could, especially with our judges. You know, they love damage, but I just kind of think he's going to slow down big time. So I feel like Yusuff probably wins if we go to a decision. Is it going to be playable? We'll see, but that's an interesting look, I think.
Yeah, if you can get that like minus 150 or better, that'd be playable, I think.
Oh yeah, I think then just play it. You know, like unless you really think he could also finish Barboza,
he could.
He
could. Then it's a push, isn't it?
Yeah, then it's a push.
So then you're set. I mean, like it sucks you don't win it, but like, dude, I'll take a push all day over like in that spot.
Yeah, better than him getting knocked down and you losing your money.
Exactly. Yeah, I think that decision only is the only way to play it, but it's probably gonna be like minus 300.
I wonder what. I guess I was gonna say I wonder what Barboza finish only is, but we just said how Barboza could get finished himself.
Yep, either guy could finish. Like in 5 rounds, I don't see Barboza getting a decision. So, yeah, the decision only is probably the only thing I'd be looking at. But yeah, I like even an over under. I have no idea.
So the over is set at 3.5 on the books, but DraftKings will give us that over 2.5. It's currently minus 130 on Bovada.
I don't even like that.
I would consider it. I have a hard time seeing them put each other away early. It's possible.
Barboza's deadly, man.
He is. He's so. I guess if you have the over every time Barboza throws, you're gonna be like this in your chair, like stressed.
And I love betting overs. So if I'm saying no on an over, oh geez.
I'm at the point where I only bet over 1.5s, man. I can't.
Really?
I can't pick an over under 2.5 to save my life. And forget about it. Under 1.5s, I think my record is probably like 1-10 or something like that. I stink at and I don't like them. I really don't like under 1.5s.
Honestly, so I don't usually bet under 1.5s very often. I would have if they gave it to us on the Dober fight, but there was an under 2.5 when I saw it. So whatever, I took that. But like usually an under 1.5 is a little risky. But like overs, dude, I'll even bet fight goes to decision quite a bit just because. I don't know, like sometimes you just know, and then like when they're in there and they're just like hugging up against the cage and you're like, yes, and all your friends are like, what is wrong with you, weirdo?
That's the thing though, right? Like when you bet an over, you're asking them not to do their job.
Exactly.
You know? Their job is to kill each other, and you're like, nah. Just hold it together for 15 minutes. Don't do that.
Boring fight.
Yeah, so like that's why for me it's like really hard to do over 2.5s because then you're really asking a lot of two guys who are literal like gladiators right now, you know. So that's why I'm usually hesitant
for a competitive, but not a lot of power strikes, back and forth striking fight. That's another way you get it.
Yeah,
like the over in something like that is doable.
But or if you have guys who you know are gonna crotch sniff, you know, those make it a little bit easier sometimes.
Yeah, like you can bet it over on on somebody that's just gonna lay there. That is all they're gonna do.
Yeah.
Like I'm pretty sure I think it was the Finney fight tonight that I bet the over 1.5.
Did that hit?
I have no idea. I can't remember now. But like my thought was he was gonna lay on him for most of the fight. I feel like it did, right? It got pretty late, didn't it?
Now I want to know. I'm going to look.
Now I have no idea. But I bet that one because my read was okay, Finney's gonna take him down and lay on him, which he did.
It hit by 13 seconds.
Yes, there we go.
Wait. You took over?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yep, yeah. Oh, I definitely took the over in that one. I think I also took the over in the Lima fight, which that one definitely hit, obviously. But yeah.
I never want to see Zenidim again. I never want to see him again, bro. That guy is poo-poo.
Dude, I was trying to be nice in the like I picked Lima, and it could be a close fight, right? It was like by my estimations, I'm like, okay, Zenidim has a few options for whatever. But in the comments, a lot of people were like, Zenidim, 100%, he's the best dog on the card. And I'm like, guys, that's like, I mean, there's other dogs on this card that were really live, but he wasn't one that I was like chomping at the bit to bet. But
yo, we got a line for Makhachev Volk.
Okay, what do we got?
Opened minus 200 Makachev, plus 170 Volk. Now minus 235 Makachev, plus 200 Volk.
That moved quick.
I don't know what to do.
I lean Makachev, but at the same time, dude, I don't think I could bet that. I couldn't. We got Makachev at minus 190 over Charles Oliveira. That was a beautiful bet.
Mm-hmm.
He's minus 235 against Volk, who's better than Charles Oliveira. Nah.
I know people won't like to hear this, but Volk would destroy Charles. He would destroy
he'd wreck him.
He would destroy him.
Brutal. It would not be close. It looked similar to the first Makachev Charles Oliveira fight.
Yep.
Or the only, I guess, at this point. But yeah, it looked very similar. Yeah, Volk's too good.
But at the same time, I'm like, short notice, minus 235. Throw him together with my guys, Jubilee. Nah, I think I'm going to wait. I think I'm going to see if people hammer Islam. And if I can get plus 300 Volk, I'll take my shot.
Yeah, I just don't. I might bet an over in that one. It's probably going to be 4.5, though, which is like. They'll
be onto it. They're going to do 4.5, I think.
I might bet an over in that still, though. Like, both guys are just too tough, and both guys are so good. That might be an over spot. Yeah. Or a fight goes to decision or something like that.
Very well might be.
Yeah, because both those guys, they are the two of the best fighters on the planet. And, like, honestly, I think they're the two best fighters on the planet. I know everybody, oh, yeah, John Jones the GOAT. I understand. But, like, as far as, like, pure skill goes, those two guys are the best fighters on the planet by far. As far as, like, actively fighting anyway.
Yeah, can't argue with you there. I think it's close. I think Jones should be included, but those three, I would say, are in a tier of their own, I think.
For sure. And I think, like, skill for skill, I think those two are above Jones just because, like, when you get higher in the weight classes, you see a drop in skills, right? And I understand Jones is fantastic. Don't get me wrong. Nobody's beating him at heavyweight. Nobody's going to beat him at heavyweight
because he's going to retire after the next one.
And nobody was going to beat him at light heavyweight. There was an argument for Reyes there, but, like,
not our current light heavyweights. They wouldn't.
Yeah, be able to. Nobody. And he's too good. But at the same time, like, and I don't think Volk would beat him at light heavyweight. Don't get me wrong. I know he fought at light heavyweight before. I don't think Volk would beat him at light heavyweight. But, like, skill for skill, those two guys are the best guys on the planet.
Yeah, I'm with you. But all right, guys, that's a show. We went on a lot of tangents. There's been a lot to talk about. I mean, what else am I supposed to do when I find out Hamzat's out also in the middle of my stream? Brutal. And then we get lines for Islam. Had to talk about it, but let's wrap it up. Thank you guys all for tuning in. Thank you for sticking with us. We still have a bunch of live viewers somehow. You guys are the best. This is why we do this. Real quick, I'll plug myself. I'll give you guys my picks, my plays. I'll pass the mic to Tyler, and then we'll get the hell out of here because it is currently 12 a.m. on the East Coast. So I've got a pretty big slate, but it's done. I think it's finalized. I've got Yusuff, minus 150, 1.5 units. Yanez, minus 110, 1.1 units. And then the decision at plus 425 for another unit. Michel Pereira, minus 135, 1.35. Lacerda, plus 255, 1 unit. Saaiman, plus 145, 1 unit. Alekseeva, plus 140, 1 unit. So quite a few underdogs. Actually, 3 and 3. 3 favorites, 3 underdogs. And then I've got that parlay I told you guys about. Unfortunately, you can't tail this. It was Cyborg, Berkhamov, Ducote, plus 103, 2 units is what I've got left. Saaiman sub, plus 1,600. I think it's the sprinkle of the week, and it's still there. Sprinkle, not a hammer play by any means. Sprinkle, as Tyler would say, lunch money. Lisboa ITD, minus 125, 1 unit. Gutierrez knockout, plus 800, 0.2 on that one. And Alekseeva sub, plus 550, 0.2. In terms of content, I went live with Clint yesterday on the Die Hard MMA podcast. That was super dope. Love breaking down fights with Clint. He's got a very, very different way of looking at fights, and it's been working for him. Dude's almost 100 units in the profit this year. So make sure to check that one out. And then tomorrow I'll be on VB MMA's channel. I'll be on his show. I think we're going live at 8 p.m. Eastern time. So make sure to check that out. And then I think it's going to be it for the week. I can't put out more content this week. I think even prop talk that we normally do Thursday, I'm not going to be able to do this week. So that's going to be it for me. How about you, Tyler? Thank you big time for coming on, brother. Always a great time breaking down fights. And yeah,
dude, yeah. Anytime. It's always fun breaking down fights with you. I know we go on tangents, but it's fun. You're a hell of a dude, so I appreciate it. Yeah, so for me, I will be putting out my full card breakdown tomorrow night sometime. No idea what time. So full transparency, I started recording some of it last night, some of my videos. I'm just not happy with it because I just don't feel like I had enough information on some of the fights. And then also, like, I didn't feel like my analysis was right on some of them. So I wanted to take a better dive today. I figured the Contender Series would tide people over. So it's coming out tomorrow night. So stay tuned. You'll get my full everything on the market board, but there's just gonna be a couple that are just looking a little blank, and that's because there's not much to go off of. But it'll be out late tomorrow night. Good stuff. You're still gonna get the full analysis. Some of my picks might change by then because there's some that I still don't have a check mark next to, and whatever. But so there's that. Follow me on Twitter as well, or X or whatever, at 138MMA, patreon.com/138MMA, but definitely on YouTube where you can find all of my breakdown videos. That's the best place, or on many live streams around the YouTube sphere. So that's where I'm at. That's where you can find me, and make sure you watch that video tomorrow.
Tyler, sorry for laughing while you were talking. It wasn't because of you. I just saw a thing from Brett Okamoto. He's been told that the original backup fighter, like we mentioned, Gamrot, is currently boarding a plane to Las Vegas to confront Dana White and the UFC matchmakers. He's threatening violence after being skipped for the title shot. Story developing.
That's awesome. Dude,
Yo,
oh
just
my
do a
God.
three-way. Just do a three-way.
Yeah, just go for it.
I'm down for that. That would be a fun one.
I don't know how that goes.
Volk and Gamrot team up to take out Islam, and then they fight each other.
That's a horrible idea for Gamrot. Because he's wrecked.
He won't stand a chance.
No, that's a lose. That's a lose for Gamrot no matter what. I think the best option in that would be Volk and Makhachev team up to take out Gamrot because they can dispose of him and then actually fight.
If I'm Gamrot, man, I'm sitting back and waiting and hoping that Oliveira goes and gets the title, because that's a fight Gamrot can win. I don't know. I don't know why he would want to threaten violence over two fights he would lose. I think he would lose to either of these guys. I get it too. Yeah. He does deserve it.
Does he though? I thought he lost to Jalen Turner, and he definitely lost to Sarukian. But either way, he won the Fiziev fight, obviously, the Fiziev fight, because whatever. So I can't take that one away. But I thought he lost to Sarukian, and I thought he lost to Turner. But
threatening violence. What is he gonna do? Beat up Dana White?
Dude, I hope so. That'd be hilarious. If he just goes that would be the greatest story. He shows up, kicks in the damn door, starts shooting double legs on Dana because he's not gonna be able to strike with him because the dude's gonna shoot double legs, right? I'm just kidding. He can probably strike with Dana White, but no, dude, that'd be hilarious.
This is crazy.
His contract gets terminated if he does that.
I don't know what he's doing, dude, but the developments we're going to get the next few days are going to be insane. But
rightfully so for him to be upset, though. He should have been the person they put in because he is the backup fighter.
We told him.
But does that sell?
This sells.
This definitely sells. Makhachev versus Volkanovski. Dude, that's the fight we wanted in the first place. I understand a lot of people love Charles Oliveira. He didn't stand a chance. I like Oliveira too. He didn't stand a chance. If anything, they got a favor because now that they're not going to see their boy get murked. But all right, guys, that's a show. I got to get the hell out of here. Thank you guys all for tuning in. Good luck this weekend and peace out.